The insult landed quietly, almost casually, yet it cut deeper than any shout ever could. In the bright marble lobby of a luxury hotel, surrounded by gold accents and soft daylight pouring through tall glass windows, a wealthy Arab prince dismissed a tired single father with a single word that dripped with arrogance. Stupid. He said it without looking twice, as if the man before him was invisible. What no one expected was that seconds later, the same single dad would lift his head, meet the prince's eyes, and respond in flawless Arabic, calm, respectful, and devastatingly precise, changing the energy of the entire room forever. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us not to judge people by appearances, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel Good Deed Stories. Your support helps these powerful stories reach more hearts around the world. The single father's name was Aaron Cole. He was in his mid-30s, with the kind of face that showed exhaustion no amount of sleep could fix. His jacket was clean but worn at the elbows, his shoes polished but old. He had arrived at the hotel not as a guest, but as a delivery contractor, pushing a small cart stacked neatly with high-end electronic equipment. Aaron had been laid off months earlier when the factory he worked at shut down unexpectedly. Since then, life had become a careful balancing act between rent, groceries, and making sure his 7-year-old daughter never felt how close they were to losing everything. Aaron's days started early, always in daylight, because that was when opportunity seemed most possible. He packed lunches, tied shoelaces, and smiled through worry so his daughter could leave for school believing her father had everything under control. After dropping her off, he worked whatever jobs he could find, deliveries, repairs, setups, anything honest that paid the bills. Pride was a luxury he could no longer afford, but dignity was something he refused to lose. The hotel job that morning was supposed to be simple. Deliver, set up, leave. But fate had other plans. The lobby buzzed with quiet luxury as a delegation entered, security, assistants, and at the center of it all, Prince Khalid Al Farouk, a young royal known for his wealth, influence, and temper. He was visiting the city to finalize a major international investment deal, one that could bring millions into the local economy. Every move he made was watched, every word recorded. As Aaron maneuvered his cart near the elevators, there was a brief moment of congestion. Staff hurried. Security tightened, and in that narrow space of misalignment, Aaron's cart slowed the prince's path for barely a second. That was all it took. The prince glanced at Aaron, irritation flashing across his face. Without asking who he was or why he was there, the prince muttered the insult under his breath in Arabic, assuming no one around him would understand. To him, Aaron was just another insignificant worker, someone beneath explanation. What the prince did not know was that Aaron had spent part of his childhood in the Middle East. His late wife had been a language teacher, passionate about culture and connection. Together, they had lived abroad for several years before her sudden passing. Aaron had learned Arabic not from textbooks alone, but from neighbors, markets, shared meals, and friendships. The language was not foreign to him. It was familiar, personal, and deeply respected. When Aaron responded in fluent Arabic, the sound of his voice was steady, respectful, and free of anger. He did not insult back. He did not raise his voice. He simply corrected the assumption behind the word. He spoke of dignity, of patience, of how a man's worth is not measured by his position, but by his character. The words flowed naturally, eloquently, and with cultural nuance that only true understanding could carry. The lobby fell silent. Security froze. Assistants exchanged startled glances. The prince stopped walking. For the first time since entering the building, Prince Khalid truly looked at Aaron. Not at his jacket, not at his cart, at his eyes. Something shifted. The arrogance cracked, replaced by surprise, then curiosity, and finally something resembling humility. Aaron lowered his gaze respectfully and returned to his task, assuming that was the end of it. He had no expectation of apology or recognition. He had spoken not to shame the prince, but to defend the idea that respect should never depend on status. But the moment did not end there. Later that morning, as sunlight streamed through the conference hall windows upstairs, Prince Khalid could not focus on the meeting in front of him. The words echoed in his mind. Not the language itself, but the meaning behind it. He had been raised in wealth and power, surrounded by people who feared or praised him, rarely challenged him with honesty. That single dad, with tired eyes and worn sleeves, had done what no advisor ever dared, reminded him of who he was supposed to be. The prince requested that Aaron be found. When hotel management approached Aaron, his heart sank. He feared he had crossed a line, that honesty had cost him the job. Still, he followed them, head held high, thinking of his daughter and the lesson he would want her to learn about standing up with grace. In the sunlit meeting room, Prince Khalid stood alone by the window. No entourage, no guards, just a man wrestling with himself. When Aaron entered, the prince turned and acknowledged him, not as a servant, but as an equal human being. He expressed regret for his words and gratitude for the reminder. He spoke of respect, of leadership, of how power without humility is empty. The conversation that followed was not long, but it was meaningful. The prince learned about Aaron's life, his daughter, his struggle to rebuild after loss. Aaron learned that the prince carried pressures invisible to the public eye, expectations that had shaped his flaws as much as his strengths. What began as an insult became a moment of transformation. The investment deal went through, but with a change. Prince Khalid insisted that part of the funds be allocated to local job programs, training centers, and scholarships for single parents. He personally asked Aaron to consult on the initiative, not because of pity, but because he trusted his judgment and values. Aaron's life did not change overnight, but it changed steadily. He found stable work. His daughter saw her father come home less tired, more hopeful. And Aaron never forgot that the turning point came not from anger or revenge, but from calm self-respect spoken in the right moment. If this story is touching something inside you, if it's reminding you of moments where kindness or courage changed your path, we invite you now to engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let us know in the comments how this story made you feel. Your interaction helps keep stories like this alive. Before the ending, we have one special request. Please comment the word respect if you believe that true strength lies in humility and understanding, no matter who you are or where you come from. The world often tells us to stay silent, to accept disrespect when it comes from power. But sometimes, the most powerful thing a person can do is speak with dignity, even when their voice is expected to tremble. Aaron did not change the prince by humiliating him. He changed him by reminding him of his humanity.